So, according to the faiths, to religions, evolution or descent or ascent of man has occurred through the will divine. There are different explanations given by different faiths for the appearance of man. We need not go into details in them for the reason that they are sometimes expressed in allegories or in a manner which was suited to the intelligence of the people of that age, but which are not suited to the intelligence of our present age after 2000 or 3000 years of intellectual advancement. So, we have now to view it in relation to the present theories also, as well as what has been said in faiths. Here, the concept of Kundalini provides a decisive answer to the problem. We know that mystical experience is a proved fact. Even a skeptical writer like Bertrand Russell admits its force. It is an admitted fact that under certain conditions, certain men found themselves in contact with a reality which is not perceptible to the normal consciousness. And what they felt there was a unity, was a radiating ocean of life, of beauty, of love, of intelligence and consciousness. Their accounts are so similar that one is led to the conclusion that this is a real experience. For instance, the Indian mystics, the Sufis, the Christian mystics, the Taoists, and all those who have had religious experiences of the highest type have described their experiences practically in the same terms. There are minor differences, but they agree on the fundamental issues. Now, taking into account this experience in which man finds himself in presence of a higher intelligence, which they called God or Ishvara or Brahman or Allah, it becomes clear that the human brain has in it the capacity to reach another dimension of consciousness which is not accessible to the normal human beings. I am proposing a research on this because my own experience has led me to the conclusion that there is a specific energy in the human body. There is a divine power center in the human body which can lead to this experience. And this divine power center is known in India as Kundalini. And even in the Christian faith, we can safely assume that it is known as the Holy Spirit. It is the spirit which God breathed into the nose of human being, into the nostrils of a human being. It is the Holy Spirit, the life energy of the Creator. This is also known as such in India as the Shakti of the Supreme Being, as his power of creating life and the birds. So we can safely conclude that if man or if several men have been able to reach a higher dimension of consciousness, which they call as mystical experience or communion with God, it means that there is still a channel open to the brain to have experience of this condition, which means that there is still another rung on the ladder of evolution which man can reach. This means that there is already a predetermined target, a predetermined state where man is reaching at present. And this then leads to the conclusion that evolution is predetermined. It has a target. It is not a haphazard thing. It is a planned thing of heaven, according to which man grew from a primary cell to his present state, as he is actually growing in the womb of his mother from a small invisible speck to a full-blown man with his intellect, with his beauty, with his charm, and with his personality.
This is very, very interesting, what you have just said. In essence, what you're saying is that it always has been the evolution of man's mind, and which means maybe it's directly defines some of the theories that we've been believing up to now. Do you care to perhaps draw a parallel in Darwin's theory, or as well as in Adam and Eve's story?
As I have said, Darwin's theory is more or less mechanical, material. It believes that somehow atoms and molecules combine together and led to life. But the religious view is that life was born out of the will of God. And the phenomenon of Kundalini proves that the evolution is planned, because man is already attempting to cross the barrier of his mind and to reach another dimension of consciousness. I should like to make this a little bit more clear. Now, for the last thousands of years, there has been an impulse in the human mind to know itself, to explain the mystery of creation. And all of us often ask ourselves, what are we? What is this creation? How have we been born? What will happen after death? What are these questions? These questions imply a thirst in man to go beyond the barriers of the intellect. The intellect has not been able to answer the question, who am I? Whence I came? What will happen to me after death? What is this world? Intellect is not even able to answer what matter is actually, and what mind is, what is consciousness. So these deep questions in the hearts of human beings imply that there is existing a thirst, a search in his subconscious mind and even in his conscious mind to seek ways and means to reach beyond the intellect. And this is where the mystics of all great nations have come forward to answer some of these questions. Their answer is that there is a conscious reality, an intelligent power behind creation, and that with love, with devotion, with certain disciplines, with truth, with charity, with compassion, one can reach a state of mind where a communion with this intelligent reality is possible. Science has nothing to say about it, because it only deals with the world which is perceptible to our senses and which can be explored by the intellect, but it has nothing to say about a world which neither our senses nor our intellect can reach. So here we come across a new frontier for which a new method of exploration would be necessary. And Kundalini provides that channel. It is the Holy Spirit of life that has led to all the evolution from the primary forms to man. Science has no answer to give whether man has now reached the final state of his being or he is still evolving. Some scholars, as for instance Teilhard-de-Chardin and even Julian Huxley, they believe that there is some sort of an evolution going on. And for Teilhard-de-Chardin, this evolution would lead to a collective consciousness which will be in communion with the reality. But he does not say the same about individual consciousness. For me, the pressing problem is, who am I? And where am I going? And what will happen to me after death? There is no answer to this question. Similarly, what Julian Huxley says is that a socio-cultural evolution is going on, that is, man is becoming more and more well-versed about the world and is gathering more and more more and more information about the universe. But that does not answer the fundamental questions. What is to happen to me after death? What am I? Am I born to die, or do I belong to some eternal source? These are questions which science is not able to answer, and these have to be answered by religion. This shows that nature has implanted a certain thirst in man to draw him towards a higher state where the questions that are tormenting him are answered. I found this in myself also. The moment I had the first experience, half of my questions melted away. They were finished. I was asking myself, what am I? I am sometimes ill, sometimes healthy, sometimes sorrowful, and then one has to die, and then suddenly the first vision saw me that I was the drop of an eternal ocean, of a fire that was burning everywhere in the universe. And immediately all these problems vanished from my mind. The answer was there. You are eternal. You are a reflection of God. You are an atom from an eternal source. There is no death for you. There is no beginning for you. There is no end for you. And from that day, I felt satisfied. This was the answer directly given to me. But intellect, reasoning, experiment cannot give this answer. This answer everybody has to receive for himself. And it is this answer, it is for this supreme condition that religion came to guide mankind. Every religion, whether it is Christianity, or it is Hinduism, or it is Buddhism, or it is Islam, just shows the way to reach the state where these answers to the intimate problems of existence are vouchsafed to us. We can see this even from the phrases used by Christ, like the kingdom of heaven is in you. That means there is something extraordinary in you, which is not easily accessible, but which, if you follow my precepts and lead the life which I am outlining, then alone you will be able to find that kingdom. And that kingdom is the higher dimension of consciousness which is destined for man. So far as consciousness is concerned, the religious testaments of humanity are the books of science. The present day books of science only apply to the material world. But for the spiritual evolution of mankind, the revealed documents are the books